What does this data tell us?
Yes, good morning, Paul. Well, this data, as you say, shows that 1,665 children may have been at risk of being sexually exploited in Rotherham since 2017. Now, this is the number of risk assessments completed by Rotherham Council where a child may be at risk, but not necessarily. 312 were completed in 2019, 379 in 2020, and for this year, up to the 6th of October, the number was 377. So that does appear to suggest that the number seems to be increasing. As for the number identified as being at the highest risk, that was 39 in 2017, 66 in both 2018 and 19, and 73 in 2020. But so far in 2021, up to the 6th of October, that number is 53, which hopefully shows that there may be some progress being made and fewer children being put at the highest risk. Those at the highest risk would see social workers taking urgent action to prevent imminent harm.
OK, Kevin. Now, obviously, this is a really important investigation that you're bringing us at GB News, for which we're very grateful. And the context to all of this is absolutely key, isn't it? Because it's in, close succession to the J report, which followed on from that huge scandal in 2014. So what has the reaction been to this in Rotherham, given its history?
Well, Isabel, this comes in a week where a report was revealed by opposition Conservatives where they said that there were multiple examples of active grooming and CSE in Rotherham. And I asked the opposition Conservative leader, Emily Barley, if she's concerned that child sexual exploitation is on the rise in Rotherham.
It seems to be becoming a more visible problem that people are more aware of. So I suppose that does indicate that it's a growing problem. But it's really difficult to tell because no one's really got a grip of this. I don't believe that enough is being done. So it's very difficult to tell sort of whether it's growing, where it is and all of that kind of thing. No one seems to know or even really want to talk about it.
And that report from the opposition Conservatives has been disputed by South Yorkshire Police and Crime Commissioner Dr Alan Billings, who told GB News this week that there are 34 active cases in relation to child sexual exploitation in Rotherham and 29 suspects have been arrested.
Kevin, what is being done to try and prevent children coming to harm in Rotherham?
Well, there have been steps taken to improve things since that J report came out in 2014. Rotherham Council say they work with Bernardo's in every school in Rotherham to raise awareness of grooming and child sexual exploitation. South Yorkshire Police say they now have dedicated child sexual exploitation teams and they provide training to spot the signs of CSE to people like hotel receptionists, taxi drivers and takeaway staff who may see it happening.
OK, Kevin. Now, confusingly, unfortunately, in the story, there's some confusion around the figures. Rotherham Council's been providing, well, slightly different figures, it appears, at least on the surface of it. Can you get to the bottom of that?
Yes, so what happened is last year a CSE survivor in Rotherham, Elizabeth, was told by the leader of Rotherham Council, Chris Reid, in a letter that there were 636 cases of CSE in Rotherham between 2014 and November 2020. Now, we used the exact same definition as she had in her letter to ask the council for the data too, but when we got our response back under the Freedom of Information Act, we got much higher numbers. And Elizabeth told us she was concerned that seemingly two different sets of numbers were provided in answer to the same question. Do you think this could just be an innocent mistake, just an admin error or something like that?
For the council to give out numbers like that, then surely it can't be a mistake. Either the mistake's being given to me or it's being given to you, but I think the public and victims and their families and survivors and anybody who's affected by this needs to know the truth and what they're actually doing.
Well, Rotherham Council have since clarified that the figures Elizabeth was given show that 636 children had been supported by their staff between 2014 and November 2020, while the numbers we were given show the number of risk assessments which were completed. But we don't know why they sent two different sets of data in response to the same question, but we are trying to find that out from them. But our figures, as I say, show 1,665 children may have been at risk of being sexually exploited here in Rotherham since 2017.
Kevin, what have the authorities had to say about the issue of grooming in Rotherham generally?
Well, South Yorkshire Police told us this week that, in their words, CSE remains a problem in Rotherham, as it does right across the country, and that they are working tirelessly to bring people to justice and prevent harm. I also spoke to South Yorkshire's Police and Crime Commissioner, Dr Alan Billings, and he had this to say.
We'd like to reassure the people of Rotherham that all those who are in a position to know, whether it's the police or the local authority, and more particularly those outside independent bodies like Ofsted, like Her Majesty's inspectors, are convinced that the children of Rotherham are being properly safeguarded, both by the council and by the police.
We have invited Rotherham Council to come on and answer our questions. So far, they haven't taken us up on that. We hope they'll change their minds. But they did say in a statement earlier this week that they take all allegations of child abuse very seriously. They also say the independent inspectors Ofsted say children's services have, in their words, been transformed in Rotherham since 2014. The council also says that not every allegation will be validated, but are urging people to report any suspicions they may have.